Hello, welcome back to my channel. So, you've probably seen this outfit in the other video that I made today. Yeah. So I realized as I was watching people's prediction videos, oh wait, I have a prize list that I should probably react to because I've been following it. So I'm just gonna, talk about it and talk about the books on it and which ones are gonna be added to my reading list. And I've read a lot of them, so that helps. I started following the Dublin Literary Award a couple years ago. Eric Carl Anderson was talking about it. It's like, oh yeah, that sounds fun, because it had a really long starting list. This year they did a proper, an actual long list. So they did their really long, nominees list, and then an actual 20 book long list that came out a couple weeks ago. I don't remember how many weeks ago. About a month ago, maybe. It's been a little while. And then they'll do a short list and then the winner. So a bit closer to the numbers that you get for the BookTube prize. Comparable anyway, in that we start out with a big field and narrow it down. So there is still that really long list of the books that are nominees that were in consideration for the long list. So you can still kind of read along with those too. But I don't know if they expect you to actually be able to have time to read those before they announce the long list. That kind of time consideration seems pretty rare in a prize. Anyway, because the Dublin Literary Award is looking at books from 2 years prior, I guess, it catches a lot of books that we've already seen on other prize lists. I'm not sure about that with respect to some of these, because they're also showing up in other prize lists that make me very confused. But the short list, or not, the shorter list, the long list, the shorter list and the really long list. Have I confused you yet? Yeah. It is including a lot of books that I read last year as prize books. So we have in the first row of the books they've included for the long list, we have Creation Lake by Rachel Kushner, Dream Count by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Endling by Maria Reva, and Glyph by Ali Smith. The one that really throws me off is Endling by Maria Reva, because that one is included on other lists like it came out more recently, and I'm very confused. I think it belongs in last year's, but I could be totally wrong. Maybe it came out here first? That could be. Anyway, so that's the first row, of which I've read all except for Endling. So the Ali Smith Glyph that's on this one is the one that came out last year, or for last year's prize list anyway. The new one with a Y just came out. I don't remember when. It's eligible for this year's women's prize, I believe. And they are supposed to be kind of a duology. I have not read the second one to know, but I will find out shortly. So I will be reading Endling, and I will be reading the new Ali Smith Glyph to see how it compares to the first one. Next row, we have Good Girl by Aria Aber. I am so glad I don't have to reread that book. Not a favorite. It was on the Women's Prize Longlist last year. I think it was on the short list as well. Yeah. I blanked it out, if so, because I did not like that book. We have one I've never heard of before, In Late Summer by Magdalena Blažević. I'm guessing by all the marks on the different letters on this person's name, maybe Turkish, which means I have no idea how to pronounce that name correctly. Magdalena Blažević. I'll go with that because it may be close. Has pretty flowers on the cover, like aging tulips. Beyond that, I'll find out when I find a copy. Because this is an international sourced award, libraries from all over the world submit nominees to this one. Some of them are harder to get because they aren't really common in the United States. They might be really common in Europe or in India, or So some of them, when I find them, I will get to them. I did finish Intermezzo by Sally Rooney a couple months ago, maybe this year. It was pretty good. It involves chess and identity and romance and neurodivergence, and yeah, it was good. She's been in the news because she is anti-genocide, and apparently some people don't like that. So that's interesting. So I read that one, and I'm going to go back and read some of her other stuff because she's a really good writer. Then we have Live Fast, which I have never heard of, by Brigitte Giraud. Guessing it's translated from the French with a name like Brigitte. I will look that one up when I can find it. Ordinary Saints by Neve something or other. I know that the first part is Neve, which would be Irish. Ordinary Saints, Niamh, Neve. Yeah. Mahoilcoin. Yeah. I have not absorbed anywhere near enough Irish Gaelic to figure out how to pronounce that. But I'm guessing it's Irish. Yeah. Ordinary Saints. I will be looking for that. And maybe I can find someone talking about it that can pronounce it for me, too. That would be amazing. Because I don't like not being able to pronounce these names. Then we have Our Evenings by Alan Hollinghurst. I was so relieved when I finished all of the Hollinghursts on the Boxall 1001 list. But he's still writing. I have heard positive things about this book that suggest that maybe I'll like it more than I've liked his other books so far. Oh, and I do have Folding Star still to read off the Boxall list. That's right. I do still have one more Hollinghurst off of the Boxall list to read. I will get to Our Evenings because it's been showing up on a lot of lists. So people like it. I haven't liked his books so far. They tend to be very pornographic, and I don't like any sexual orientation of pornographic very much. I'm not really into it. So they're very repetitively pornographic. If you like that, then they're amazing. So I'm just not the audience for these books. Anyway, then we have Perspectives with the S in parentheses, very much like Departures by Barnes that came out, or that the ARC came out recently-ish, that I still have to read. Maybe this one's out of the French too. Laurent Binet is the author. Then we have The Antidote by Karen Russell, which was on the National Book Award list this last year and is now in the UK publication phase. So it came out in the United States first. And I really enjoyed that one. It was a 5-star for me. The Brittle Age by Donatella di Pietrantonio. Guessing out of the Italian. And it is a Europa editions. I usually like the books they choose. I've had very good success so far with books that Europa editions publishes. So I'm excited about that when I find it. We have The Creation of Half-Broken People by Sifiwe Gloria Ndolovu. Guessing somewhere in Africa with a name like Ndolovu. Probably. Never heard of it, but I will keep an eye out for it. Evie Wyld, The Echoes. I don't own a copy, but I think I've seen it at our bookstore. So that one's one I'll keep an eye out for and probably get soon, because I've seen it on lists before this one. Emperor of Gladness by Ocean Vuong. I've read it last year for prizes. It was good. Probably more 4.75 stars for me, but I did really enjoy it. And we have Olga Tokarczuk, The Imposium. I own several of hers. I read Flight last year, and I need to reread it because I was not paying enough attention, apparently. I don't remember enough. So I might do an Olga Tokarczuk binge at some point and just read several of hers all at once so that I can get her voice in my head a little better. So I will definitely be reading The Imposium probably this year. Then we have The Original Daughter by Jemima Way. Never heard of it. I've never seen it, but I'll keep an eye out. There Are Rivers in the Sky by Elif Shafak. I really enjoyed this one. This was a 5-star book for me. I read it as an ARC, and then it showed up on lots of prize lists last year, and yeah, really good book. Highly recommend. And the last one in the Dublin Literary Award Longlist for this year is What I Know About You by Eric Shakur, which I'm guessing also comes out of a French tradition translated, so probably translated from the French. It has an accent on the E, which I don't think most people I know would need an accent on the E to pronounce that Eric. So might be an affectation. I don't know why you would need an accent on the E on a name like Eric. Anyway, that's kind of fun. So that's the long list for the Dublin Literary Award. First year they've done it this way. And of them, I have about half to read. Maybe a little more than half. Let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I need to read 12 out of the 20. So that's not too bad, actually, for a long list of 20 books. Yeah. So I will be incorporating them into my TBRs as I get a hold of them, because some of those ones from other countries, not only do they have to have been published in either the United States or in Britain, where somebody bought it and brought it over here or ordered it, so it arrived here, but then it also has to show up where I can get it, which is usually the used bookstore. And it takes a while for some of these international literature books to show up in a used bookstore in my town. So it might be a while. But yeah, so that's the Dublin Literary Award, and lots of books on this one overlap with the Women's Prize from last year or the National Book Award Longlist from last year. So that was interesting, and it really throws off my time sense of when their cutoffs are. I know that they don't accept books where they're published after their nominee list comes out. So, because I like that about it. You don't get, a list of books where you can't even get a hold of the book at all because they're not published yet. They at least forestall that. But I'm so confused by dates anymore. That's going to be my downfall with these prize lists. It's just keeping track of, okay, what's the cutoff? Yeah. But I still love getting these lists and getting an idea of which books I should pay attention to. Because the ones I have read, the 8 that I've read, the 18 that I've read? No. Oh my gosh. Math! Good grief. 8. It's 8 because there's only 20. There's 12 left to read. The ones that I've read off this one, about half and half, 5 stars and not. So there are some good ones, and enough to think that they have a pretty good system for kind of winnowing out good books to pay attention to. So anyway, next up, I guess, would be they winnow it down to 10 or something like that. I think they cut it in half. And in the meantime, we have International Booker and Women's Prize Longlist coming up next month. And I don't know what else. I will find out as people start talking about it. But I am going to weigh in on all those if I have anything to say. Try to get in more of a habit of actually talking about these things more than just on chats on other people's sprints. Just so I have a record of what I thought about these books. Because I read so many books and there's so much else going on that it's easy to forget what I thought about a book if I've moved on for a year or two. So, anyway, I will catch you guys in the next video. I've got a few other ideas. There might be more videos coming out as I'm trying to get into more of a habit. So expect interesting things, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!